China expands its global intelligence gathering network. How will it affect the world? China would not like to lag behind the Western-led security order on the Asian continent. It plans to create more exchange and cooperation platforms to address security challenges in unconventional and digital fields. Some of these initiatives aim to strengthen governance in non-traditional security domains like the fight against terrorism, cybersecurity, biosecurity, and new technologies. Some of these initiatives aim to strengthen governance in non-traditional security domains like the fight against terrorism, cybersecurity, biosecurity, and new technologies. It appears that Beijing is offering an alternative to the security system provided by Western countries by expanding its security initiative abroad. In hindsight, President Xi Jinping proposed a new security initiative during the annual Boao for Asia conference in April last year. The effort to promote multilateral and bilateral training programs is aimed at the Middle East, the Pacific Islands, and the Central Asian republics. The West has long been expanding its security influence in these regions, except in Central Asia, where the West was only able to manage its footprints after the implosion of the Soviet Union in 1991. In China's view, the country has a moral obligation to solve international security issues because of its position as the dominant power in Asia. Li Wei, the anti-terrorism expert at the Chinese Institute of Contemporary International Relations, CICIR, said, "The training and exchange plan in non-traditional security fields, especially anti-terrorism, shows that Beijing feels responsible for addressing global challenges." China's growing influence in developing countries. The newspaper reported that China would further encourage exchange and cooperation between university-level military and police academies. This means that through academic channels, Beijing also wants to expand its influence among the large student and official communities in developing countries in the region. It aims to familiarize a new generation of young Asian military and police officials with Chinese techniques and methods of efficiently enforcing security against a wide variety of crimes that are extremely different from the standard criminology we know. China is committed to expanding its worldwide sway in a transparent manner that will have a wide-ranging impact on several sectors of society in emerging economies. This would counteract the impression often created by anti-Chinese elements that China does many things that remain hidden from the public eye. At a China-Russia-led security group summit last September, President Xi announced that China would train 2,000 security forces from Shanghai Cooperation Organization (SCO) member countries in the coming 5 years and create a training base focused on fighting against terrorism. China's treatment of terrorism and the fight against terrorism has standards that do not necessarily conform to those established by the UN Human Rights Council. We can call it whatever we want, but that has little influence on China's perception of the issue. For example, China has used its veto power in rejecting a joint US-Indian proposal to target Pakistani-based terrorists who are Pakistani nationals. However, the remaining members of the SC approved of the resolution without any changes being made. In fact, China has accomplished this feat multiple times. China claimed that the resolution was flawed on a technicality that none in the SC was willing to explain or acknowledge. Training of security agents. The training of 2,000 security officers is a strategy to get SCO member countries to accept the Chinese interpretation of terrorism or anti-terrorist methodology and the like. China appears to be interested in spreading the definition and methods set by the UN Human Rights Council, but it provides no details about the curriculum of such academic training. Hence, the regimes of the affected member nations would not have any doubts or reservations. The critical concern, however, is how the trained police troops would behave once they are deployed on the ground. These new plans are based on the experience China has gained from identical examples elsewhere. Last December, China offered to train 1,500 police and cybersecurity officials from some Arab states. Beijing has also helped train the Solomon Islands police to improve their riot control capacity. Earlier, the Solomon Islands police had sent 32 officers to China for a month-long training course. China knows that its strategy of accumulating influence abroad through announced programs and thus giving an appearance of transparency is nothing more than a cover for legalized intelligence gathering. And assuming that is not the purpose, Still, training professionals according to Mao's ideology seriously threatens a democratic regime. In short, China wants to gain influence in the developing countries of the Asian continent. Li, the counter-terrorism expert, consistently maintains that the training activities were normal and aimed at countering common threats faced by multiple countries that a single country could not solve on its own. The irony is that China is creating the common threat and claims to be working against the same COP, and the initiative helped boost ties. It's clear that he intends to legitimize and regulate open spying through the strategic use of talent. But he conceded that the programs had the potential to bring China and poor countries closer together. The number, size, and population of developing countries in which China wants to experiment with transparent espionage are not small. They cover a significant portion of the globe. So China is experimenting with a new intelligence gathering strategy by presenting it as transparent and harmless to the emerging free and democratic world. Thanks for watching.